Hello and welcome to The Insider, a show designed to clue you into the biggest news, events, and announcements inside the video games industry. Discussing with you some things you may know, some things you may not, and glue holds it all together is a little bit of my own opinion. My name is Paul James, thank you very much for watching, and let's get for their episode. When Nintendo Directs roll along, they need to be discussed, and when they have particularly large ones, they really warrant a lot of our time and attention. Nintendo just yesterday held a 40-minute long Nintendo Direct that covered a massive amount of titles. And in this week's episode of The Insider, we're going to break some of those games down into the get hyped moments, the big news, and some low-key hype. And we're going to really break down what all these announcements were, why they're important, why they're not, why they're more important than others, and what that means for you going forward. So let's get into it. Let's firstly begin with the big get hyped moments, the biggest things to come out of this Nintendo Direct. And for me personally, and based on reactions I've seen on the internet, without doubt the biggest reveal / announcement / anything from that Nintendo Direct was that Xenoblade Chronicles is getting a definitive edition, a remake of the original game that came to the Wii back in 2012. It's now going to be available on the Switch in the best possible way. I'm really looking forward to this. It's coming out in 2020. Monolith Soft do some fantastic work, and those games deserve to be played by as many people as possible. So please consider picking up when it comes out next year. Next up, there's Overwatch. Now, we know about Overwatch. We knew that it was coming. There's been leaks. There's been accessories that kind of got out there. We knew this wasn't far off. It's now coming October 15th. People are getting really excited about that. Overwatch isn't necessarily the biggest thing for me, but I understand how important that is for the Switch family, for consumers, for Overwatch players to be able to take it on the fly. There's so many good reasons why this game should exist on the Switch, and now it does, and that's something to look forward to. Next up is some Smash Brothers related stuff. We've got Banjo, available right now. That's awesome. The Bear and Bird are back, baby. You've got SNK fighter Terry, who's coming to Smash. He's the next character that's been revealed. That's going to be occurring in November. And then, despite the fact that we've still got one final character from this DLC batch to be revealed, it's been confirmed that there is going to be more characters on the way. And that, too, is awesome. Finally, as far as the big get hype moments are concerned, the Nintendo Switch Online kind of system there they've got going there, very affordable, great value, is getting even more valuable thanks to the addition of the Super Nintendo. Yeah, like what we got with the original Nintendo Online. We're getting Super Nintendo Online. There's 20 different games coming to it, the likes of Zelda, Mario. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. There'll be more coming down the road. It's a really awesome thing. People kind of got a bit of a sniff for it when we saw some accessories were announced. There's going to be a controller that you can buy online via the Nintendo website, Nintendo stores, so go and check that out. It's a great thing. There were some great things to come out of Nintendo in this announcement, in this Direct, and those were just some of the biggest things. Now let's get into the rest. Let's dive into some of the big news, but not necessarily the big, earth-shaking announcements that we got in the last segment. Let's begin by talking about Super Kirby Clash, which is available now. It's a free-to-play game, or free to start, as Nintendo likes to call it. It's got co-op, it's got online competitive co-op. It looks like it could be a cool, fun game. I'm going to download it on my Switch tonight and give it a bit of a crack. Maybe you should too. It's free. Why not? Return of the Obra Dinn is one of the most acclaimed games of last year, and it's been stranded on PC up until now. Return of the Obra Dinn is coming to the Switch this holiday season. They're calling it fall, so that'll be our spring, so sometime in the next few months. And it really did some awesome things on the PC, so I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it via the Switch. Trials and Mana was one of the big announcements for the Switch at E3. We got to learn a little bit more about that, more specifically a release date of the 24th of April 2020. This is a remake of the third core Mana game of sorts, and one that never actually released officially in the West. So this is a great opportunity to get your hands on it. Of course, it is currently available. The original version is now currently available, courtesy of the Mana Collection is now available on the Switch, but you too can get the remake, the remaster, this polished up version of the game next year. Finally, there's Tokyo Mirage Sessions, which doesn't really do much for me, but anyone who loves their Fire Emblem, it's a great opportunity to dive into that. Let's go and check that out. And, sorry, I said finally, there's one more thing. Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, and Doom 64 are coming to the system in the near future. These are remasters, kind of polished up versions of older games, and they'll be available on the Switch too. So get excited if you're fans of older games as well.
One day, there suddenly appeared a giant monster. To defend the townspeople, one boy named Axe will stand up to face it.
So we've covered a lot of the big news, we've covered the big get hype moments. We're now going to get some of the low-key buzz that came out of this particular conference, this particular direct. And interestingly enough, it's actually Nintendo's big guns that were kind of the low flyers this time around. So I'm talking about Animal Crossing, I'm talking about Luigi's Mansion 3, I'm talking about Zelda Link's Awakening, which is only a week or two away now. I'm talking about Pokemon Sword and Shield. None of these games really blew us all away. Animal Crossing, they gave us close to 5 minutes worth of content for, but I can't say that I learned anything enormous about it. I'm really excited for Animal Crossing, but there's nothing that's knocking the door down and commanding my attention that came out from that particular showing. Same with Pokemon. They showed off a bunch of other features, but none of them were really ground-shaking sort of things there. Luigi's Mansion and Zelda, they kind of gave us more of what we've been expecting. They're looking really great. Obviously, when it comes to Zelda, it's hard to show us anything particularly amazing there because in the case of Link's Awakening, is a remake of a Game Boy game. But there were some really great things shown. A lot of other small announcements, the likes of Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, and Rogue that are coming to the Switch, and a whole host of other things. The Witcher 3 got a little showcase. There was lots of third-party titles, small things that Nintendo pumped out really quickly. Lots of things to get excited for, so go track those down as well. Overall, this latest Nintendo Direct was a fantastic, awesome showing. Nintendo are really kicking some goals at the moment. It's been their first big proper showing since E3, really. We've had some little indie world showcases and other bits and pieces along the way, but it's been their big first showing since E3, and they did not fail to deliver. There were no big megaton announcements, though Xenoblade's getting pretty close. But it was just hit after hit after hit of really solid pieces of news. I'm not at all bothered that we didn't see anything from Breath of the Wild 2, Metroid Prime 4, or anything else that might have been rumoured or speculated upon, because what they've suggested and what they've shown via this particular Direct is that the next essentially 12 months are well and truly covered. Between now and this time next year, we're pretty well set. We know that Animal Crossing is coming March. We've got teasers now that we've got Xenoblade for next year and other things that are coming down the pipeline. It's all looking really, really good. So I'm not too worried in that regard. They didn't need the big guns to fire in this particular case, and that is awesome. And what that really indicates is that Nintendo is in a super strong place. They don't need Zelda or Mario to carry them anymore, and that's a real testament to what the Switch is doing. It's a real testament to what developers who've been supporting the Switch are doing, and it's showing gamers really are interested and invested in trying other experiences outside of the tried and true. Nintendo Switch, you're onto something. Nintendo, you're onto something. Please keep this ball rolling. You're doing a great job.
And the release date is today.
And so that concludes this week's episode of The Insider. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. All those buttons down below here, and hit that notification bell. That way you're alerted to every new video the moment it goes live on the channel. That includes Patched, The Insider, Player 2 Plays, Late Game Review, Gamer School, and a whole bunch more. Visit the website, player2.net.au, where you'll find reviews, previews, opinion pieces, news, features, the Player 2 Writers Draft, links to our podcast series, Dev Diary, Patched, and the Player 2 Pixelcast. There's some awesome things there. If you've got them on podcast services where you can review those shows, give them a 5-star review, help them boost up the charts, more exposure for lots of other people, please go and do that as well. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/player2au, and kick in a few bucks. At the lower tiers, you'll get early access to episodes. The higher tiers, you'll get monthly episode exclusives. Finally, there's Twitter. You can find me at Paul James Games. The website, you'll find Player2AU. And until next time, that has been the September Nintendo Direct. I assume there won't be another one, so I hope that I'm not mislabeling this episode. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.